are the people that they usually pick on. You know, there's always a scapegoat in these toxic narcissistic families. Usually has the most objective opinion and often fights for fairness, is often subjected to more abuse due to being different or refusal to conform, is often blamed for problems that occur within the family, is excessively criticized, is never good enough. Their struggles are often the least well known. They may be high function overachiever, rebel, caregivers, and rescuers. They may suffer from long-term effect of rejection, such as anxiety, depression, PTSD, and abusive dynamics in other areas of life. Now, guys, just jumping back into who are toxic family members. They're abusive. Right off the bat, any type of abuse, physical, mental, or emotional, is a sign of a toxic person and environment. Anyone who uses verbal words to make another family member feel less than is exhibiting toxicity, and adds that even violent behavior that's not directed at you, punching holes in the wall, is still unacceptable and a major red flag. You feel depressed or anxious around them. Another big tell of a toxic family member or household is how you feel around them. As mentioned, this can include a range of feelings from depression to anxiety to low self-worth and feeling like you're walking on eggshells. Another thing, they're manipulative. If someone is toxic, you can bet they're going to be manipulative, which can look a lot like different things. They may gaslight you, guilt trip you, and or be generally controlling. And for those who are not sure what gaslighting is, I actually found something where it talked about gaslighting. Gaslighting is a form of insidious and covert manipulation where a bully, narcissist, or an abuser targets a victim by making them question their judgments, memory, mind, and reality. Like, I stole it. Are you sure? Are you sure it's even missing? You come to me and say that your shirt is missing and you accuse me of taking your shirt? I don't even know what shirt you're talking about. I don't even know what shirt you're talking about. So what? We went to the store. Yeah, I saw you pick out a shirt, but I'm not even sure if that's the same shirt. Stuff like that is gaslighting. Also, guilt trips. Guilt trips are a passive-aggressive form of manipulation and bullying. They're designed to give the manipulator exactly what they want at your expense. Your feelings and needs don't matter. By refusing to play their games and act or feel guilty, you disarm them and they lose their power over you. So at the end of the day, what you have to do is when somebody try to guilt trip you into something, you just got to be like, not today. Those tears don't budge me. They don't make me. Judge Judy is so good with that. People start trying to cry and try to manipulate the situation by crying and stuff like that. And she's like, your tears don't move me. She told this lady, she told her to stop crying. She's like, cry. And she said, cry quieter. I don't want to hear you cry. Because the lady was just like sniffling and everything. And it's like, just explain your case. You don't got to get into all that. But definitely that is being manipulative. They are controlling. Like I said, when behavior becomes forceful or leaves someone in fear, this is controlling. Adults who are being controlled may not realize it in the beginning. In fact, at first, many adults may dismiss the concerning thoughts and say the other person is just trying to do what's best for me. For adults, when another person prohibits your decision making, that is controlling behavior. Some ways that toxic people try to control others include trying to persuade you to make important life choices that you aren't comfortable with, using money or food as a means to have you do whatever they want, installing tracking apps on your devices without your knowledge, and that's really dangerous. A controlling adult may try to tell another what they can and cannot wear about clothes, jewelry, or makeup. All right. Here's another thing. They always blame you. Individuals who engage in toxic behavior rarely see the wrong that they do or how they hurt others. When toxic relationships occur within a family, one may blame the other for their problems rather than taking responsibility for their actions that may have contributed to the problem. While there are times that some people don't realize they've made a mistake, if this is something that happens often, the problem needs to be discussed. All right. Another thing, don't confuse punishment for discipline. Discipline is a means of teaching someone to live by a code of behavior or correction that teaches a child right from wrong. When toxic family dynamics occur, one person may be the victim of toxic punishment. This is a type of discipline or punishment that occurs when no lesson is being taught. The punishment may be excessive for the type of behavior that needs to be corrected. Adults in the toxic relationship often use the silent treatment as a form of punishment. They make threats. All right. Here's another thing. They are always critical towards you. They always want to fix something on you. Oh, your weight. They always critical about every little thing that you do. And sometimes when it comes from a parent, it's projection. They feel like they can no longer accomplish their goals after they have children and will still try to live through their children, trying to shape their lives to be like the lives they envisioned having. They are dismissive of your feelings. This is another sign. A close family will encourage one another. They will listen as you express your feelings and will offer support in difficult times. Kind of like a Full House situation, right? On the other hand, a toxic shows little, if any, concern for your feelings. Just think, have y'all ever watched Have and Have Nots? Have and Have Nots, Veronica, the mom? And I know my mom is on here right now, and me and her used to watch Have and Have Nots. And Veronica, what? And now my mom is watching this new show called Riches. And the mom on there, same type of character. Just terrible. Just a horrible human being. And she uses manipulation to get everything she wants. And sometimes she's not even manipulative. She's just downright controlling and just evil-spirited, mean-spirited. A dysfunctional family individual often disagrees with what you say, even if they know you're right. If the toxic person is the reason you feel unsettled, anxious, or depressed, she or he will likely try to convince you that you are the problem, rather than addressing the situation and trying to resolve it. Like Veronica on Have and Have Nots, like her son was gay and she was trying to control his life and make him marry a female, like be with a female and stuff like that, because she didn't want him to be gay. But then also on the other hand, like she was just really mean to her husband too. Like she was just doing a whole lot. Like she didn't want to really be with her husband, but at the same time, like she felt like her husband was weak and he didn't really speak up for himself. He was just a really nice guy, but she was just like, you're not doing it enough, you know, you're too soft, you know, I'm gonna do what you failed to do, and all of this different stuff. Y'all ever watch A Family That Prays? Family That Prays. Sanaa Lathan's character, and she even had problems with her siblings. So Taraji on the movie, she had problems with her siblings. So here's, and speaking of siblings, taking sibling rivalry to extremes. Sibling rivalry can help foster healthy competition and drive to succeed. However, when the behavior becomes extreme or dangerous, the behavior is considered toxic. Some examples of toxic behaviors between siblings include blaming the other sibling every time they get into trouble, trying to humiliate the other sibling, making competition among siblings personal and vindictive. All right. And the household or family member can be unpredictable. Unpredictability is another sign of a toxic household, which leads to the aforementioned feeling of walking on eggshells in your home. And I've been doing a lot of talking, but I want to actually show you guys what it's like in a certain household. And let me just get to my videos really quickly, because these joints hit home. This one really hit home for me.
Alicia's first dress. This is the one you picked out, Dad. What do you think?
I'm a daddy's girl. My daddy's opinion means a lot to me.
What do you think?
Dad likes it. It was just beautiful, beautiful on her. I'm enjoying the moment.
It looked like Dad was getting a little emotional behind those Terminator glasses.
I like how it makes me feel skinny, and I like the beadwork.
Mom, what do you think?
She doesn't look like she's been on the softball field or the basketball court.
It's not her. I don't know what Alicia's dad's thinking. It was too much stress for Alicia's taste.
Yeah, it's not doing nothing for me.
She looks like a linebacker.
Are you kidding me?
She does look like a linebacker.
You cannot think of another word but linebacker? That's offensive.
You can't compare a bride to a football player. That's a foul, a penalty, throw a flag. I mean, y'all know what I'm talking about.
I know they're going to be honest with me whether they're going to hear it or not. Sometimes I can handle it, but sometimes I don't like it.
Okay.
Do you like it?
Yeah, but it's not the one.
Alicia was trying to put on a brave face, but I don't know anyone who's that tough.
Hoping for a more positive response from the peanut gallery, Melissa puts the bride in mom's pick, an over-the-top spaghetti strap ball gown loaded with bling.
What are you thinking?
It's not the right kind for me. I do like the glam on the dress, but that's about all I like on the dress. All I like on the dress. Since it was my mom's pick, I do want to show her.
Let's go out and take a look.
Okay, maybe it was prettier on the mannequin.
Sandra, please, please, just don't say anything about it.
Ball gowns are pretty on a lot of people, just not her.
Do you like it?
I knew she wouldn't like it, but I love it.
This is not the one. Please take this dress off. I feel like my hips are too big.
You don't need to worry about that. You look like a walking doily.
Disappointment? Hell in a handbasket.
Looks like you're a mop. A walking mop with a head. That is a beautiful dress.
They're all having a big laugh, but they're forgetting there's a bride inside of that dress. And if they keep this up, I bet we don't get her back out on the runway.
There's honest, and then there's mean. And mean might mean I show them the door.
The reaction from this crowd is appalling. Every bride should feel like a beautiful princess, not a tackling dummy.
This ends now. It's time to take charge and put Alicia in a dress that's right for her and no one else.
How y'all feel about that? Like, that was crazy. I was watching, I was like, they are openly humiliating her on what is one of the most important days leading up to her wedding. Like, this is, and you could tell that this has been a thing in their family. Like, they have been doing this to her for a long time. It's not just because of this situation. She has been being picked on and bullied by her family for a very long time. That has a lot of lasting effects. Let's go to this next video.
Cool. I have a saying where I tell people, like, you can't make fun of me because my mom already made fun of me for it. Oh, good. like my family roasted me way more and way better than you can ever roast me. So I don't get like, yeah, I've got big ears. What's new? Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, but like my uncles, they will go to town, and it was fun.
Oh, we didn't know. I mean, like, once you get older, they start, like, joking more with you, but not when you're little.
But we had nicknames from the jump. Yeah, we give each other nicknames from the jump. Like,
I have seen
I feel
that.
like Mexican people, like,
I was gonna say,
like
there's this
a lot.
TikTok that says, like, how did your family Mexicanize your name or, like, your kid's name? And I thought that was really funny.
Yeah, so my middle name is Antonio, and my parents call me Toñito.
Toñito.
Yeah.
That's what we call.
Oh, caught in a bad romance. Whoa, caught in a bad romance. Whoa, caught in a bad romance. Whoa, caught in a bad romance.
Cool. I have a say.
So yeah, guys. So as you can see in the first video, it was a guy talking about how in their family, in his family, you know, you can't go out in the world and people can hurt me more than my own family. And when you think about it, when you sit back and really take a break and look at that, that's incredibly sad, right? To know that you can be in a family that bullies you so badly that when you get out in the real world, nobody can bully you as bad as your family does. You know, everybody has experienced that situation, you know, in their lives, whether it be when they was younger. When you become an adult, you kind of start picking up on stuff, you know, and then there's a whole like aha moment like this.
You know, when I was a kid, I used to think you were cool.
Oh, we're being rude? Awesome, cool, my fucking turn.
So when you decide to finally fight back, that's when everybody is like, oh, you're overreacting, you're doing too much. Because you've been a punching bag and a scapegoat for all this time. And now when you finally speak up for yourself, you're the one in the wrong, you know. And I have experienced this in my own family. I'm not even going to lie. That's why this topic was so important for me to do, because I have some traumas. And the whole thing about it is that everybody is like, oh, a lot of people in our community do not embrace therapy as much as they should. Even though we are affected by the trauma a lot more than any other race, we should be going to therapy. We should have a space where we can go and talk to people about it. And the reason why a lot of people jump on social media and start making videos and TikToks and start, you know, just spilling their guts online is because they can talk to a camera and the camera can't tell them to be quiet or that you're overreacting or you're doing too much or whatever. They feel like they can just express themselves, and once they put it out there, they put it out there. But it's a form of therapy for a lot of people because they don't have the money or the means to go get therapy, sit down with a therapist. And another thing is that even if they had the means to go see a therapist, you know, that they get criticized for going to a therapist. You get what I'm saying? So we have those toxic family members. I want to actually have this next video where they talk about their run-ins with family members and how they were tormented. One young lady, I believe it was about her weight, and another young lady, it was about her wearing glasses. So let's get into it.
Now that I don't fuck with certain people in my life anymore, I just be sitting around thinking about all the stuff that I let slide. And this literally came to my mind, like, my auntie was literally bullying me at a point in time about gaining weight. So yes, I used to hang with my cousin, which is her daughter at the time, and I didn't know that she was in competition with me. I didn't know that she would hate on me or none of that, because I didn't look at her and hate on her, so why would you do that to me? But anyway, she was in secret competition. I didn't realize it then, but I do now. And she would always comment about my weight and about how much weight I was gaining, because obviously she couldn't compromise looks. So when I started gaining the slightest bit of weight, they would like throw it in my face. And when I say the slightest bit of weight, I mean the slightest bit. Looking back, when I used to think that I was big because they used to bully me about it, I was not big at all. And now when I'm actually like fucking fat, it's like, damn. But on from that, there would be times when I would go to her mother's house because she lived with her mom. And as soon as I would walk in the door, her mom would single me out and announce the fact that I've gained so much weight since the last time she seen me. Doesn't matter who was there, doesn't matter how many people was in the room, doesn't matter if I knew those people. She would single me out, tell me, oh my gosh, you're gaining so much weight, you got so big weight, come here, and have me in the middle while she criticized me about how fat I was getting. Aside from the fact that I think she was doing this to make her daughter feel better about herself because she knew that her daughter suffered with self-esteem issues, and they just used me as somebody to make themselves feel better. This shit was wrong as hell because she would do it in front of anybody and everybody. Doesn't matter if she seen me at the dollar store, it doesn't matter where the fuck she seen me. She was going to announce the fact that I was getting big. No care in the world. So one day, hours later, after she had already announced that I was big as fuck, I was sitting on the couch and going through my Snapchat memory, and I seen a memory of me and my cousin, the cousin that I was with. And I'm like, oh my gosh, look at us, like hee hee ha ha laughing, because it was like from 3 years ago. And her mom asked to see the phone, and she was like, let me see. And she instantly looks at me and she's like, oh my gosh, you got so fat, like you were so skinny on this video, look, like showing her daughter like that I like she can't fucking see, like, oh my gosh, look how small she was, now look at her thighs now. Like she kept fucking repeating it. And when I would say something back like, oh my gosh, because the daughter would be trying to be like, oh yeah, she is, like she gained so much weight, like she's so fat. And then I would be like, girl, you're not skinny either, because she literally had a fucking beer belly with skinny ass legs and skinny ass arms. So what she would do was compare her thighs to mine, and because she felt like my thighs were big and her thighs were little, that automatically made her the skinny small one. And then when I would say that, like, hey, you're not small either, her and her mom would be like, oh well, she's not as big as you. But anyways, her husband literally stopped as he was passing, as she's commenting on my weight, looking at a video from 3 years ago telling me that I'm as big as a fucking house now. Her husband stops and told her to fucking stop. That's how you know it was fucking bad. He stopped what he was doing to tell her to
used to steal my glasses every single day for years. Every day. They would say, oh, you wear your glasses too much, your eyesight's gonna get worse. That's why you have such bad eyesight, because you wear them all the time. Mind you, I had glasses since I was in the 3rd or 2nd grade, and I could only see if something was this close to my face. All the way up until when I turned 21 and I got LASIK surgery, I needed glasses because I literally couldn't do anything without them. And these people used to take my glasses every day. And my aunt would sometimes forget to give them back after she put them in her purse, and she would leave. So I would have to wait till the next day in the morning to get my glasses back. I had to walk all the way home with my mom, blind. I couldn't watch TV when I got home. I couldn't like do anything unless it was in my face when I got home, except for go to sleep, because she would steal my glasses, or like other family members would steal my glasses. Like, why do you need to bully a child in that manner? Because at that point, like, it's not like I'm doing this for your own good. Like, you're purposefully bullying a child, because I was bawling, crying, telling them that I couldn't see, and they would still like laugh in my face and steal my glasses from me. So, you know, like, I don't understand the logic. Like, I don't understand, and I don't think I'll ever understand.
So yeah, well, the first video with the young lady being tormented by her aunt and her cousin about her weight. So after I had my son, I put on a little bit of weight. I put on a lot of weight, and sometimes a lot of comments that my family members made to me hurt my feelings, because I couldn't help that I just had my son, so I was bigger, you know, than I usually am. I did blow up, you know, and sometimes you have those family members that just don't have a filter. They say stuff and they just don't think about what they say before they say it. There's no care, no consideration for the person's feelings that they're saying stuff to. And it upsets me, because it was something that I really couldn't control. All I could do was, you know, eat healthy, you know, try to get better. And I did come down a lot, but it's just like, wow, like when I was already going through stuff with my son's father, and I already didn't feel as pretty or beautiful as I felt before. And then to have family members saying, oh, look at you, look at your arms, look at your body, look at it. And it's family members. Like, how are we doing this to each other? And then on the other thing with the glasses and everything like that. Now, it's okay to have friendly banter every once in a while. Like I say to my mom all the time, and she's on here right now. And she wears glasses. We all wear glasses. We're all pretty much blind. So my mom was like, you know, we joke around and say, you know, my mom, she wears her glasses to bed so she can see her dreams. And it's funny, it's lighthearted. Because we all wear glasses anyway, you know, and we rag on each other about, you know, having bad eyesight, but it's not like to the point where we're stealing each other's glasses and taking each other's, like, who does that? That's real stupid. And real quick shout out, I saw that Bianca Monroe has jumped on Think Different TV. Thank you so much, sis, for jumping on. She is the host of Foreplay with B, which is every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on YouTube. And she also co-hosts a show called The Rabbit Hole 13 alongside Taj Mahal and Mr. Cheese on Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube. So show her some love. Yeah. So definitely, that's the type of stuff that happens in a lot of families, and sometimes it can go from harmless, like banter, playing around, to really hurting someone's feelings and making someone feel lower about themselves. Now, we talked about toxic family members, but let's get into the toxic moms and dads. All right. Young lady, she shared her thoughts on the signs of you having a toxic mother.
Another thing that I've been seeing a lot of lately on social media is women, particularly Black women, discussing toxic mother-daughter relationships within our household and communities. And this is so great. I'm so, glad to see that more of us are addressing these childhood traumas and are fixing them. But if you are not sure whether or not you have a toxic mom, here's 3 ways to know. 1, she goes out of her way to point out that maybe you wear hair extensions and makeup. She is very vocal about your shortcomings. Not so vocal when you do something great or you achieve something, but your shortcomings, oh, she is sure to tell everybody about it. Everybody in the family, everybody in the neighborhood, all of her friends, they're all gonna know. And this is also why a lot of us don't trust our moms. So that's the 3rd thing. Ask yourself, can I go to my mom and tell her anything? Do you trust her with your secrets? Do you trust her with your goals? Can you tell your mom, oh, I want to do this and do that, and not worry about her trying to downplay your dreams? If you find that there are certain things that you can't tell your mom, or you feel like there are certain things that you don't want to share with her, you have a toxic mom.
So yeah, she pretty much broke it down. One example of a toxic mother, I don't know if anybody watches Wentworth, but on there was a character named Vera, and Vera had a mom who was very toxic, manipulated her, and because her mom manipulated her, another character named Ferguson on the show felt like she could manipulate Vera as well. And this was somebody that she worked under. But her mom was, oh my gosh, so terrible. Because Vera she put her life into her work, and she didn't have a husband, and she didn't have a child. Her mom felt like she could rag on her every chance she got. It was just nonstop. And when her mom fell ill and Vera had to take care of her, it was like Ferguson got into her ear and was like, listen, all you have to do is just put this in the thing, and take her out, you know. You get what I'm saying? So you wouldn't be under your mom's thumb anymore. But there's a lot of different ways a mom can be toxic, or a parent can be toxic. A mom can be toxic in a way with her daughter, where she's in constant competition with her, where she's always, you know, and I know a lot of y'all know some moms out there that's in competition with their daughters, you know, as far as, you know, or feeling like, oh, I can't bring my man around my daughter because my daughter is fast and she's gonna try to get my, you know, all that type of stuff, or constantly doing things to kind of one up their daughter, or projecting all the things that the mom didn't do when she was coming up. So let's say the mom wanted to be a model or whatever, and then she sees she has a beautiful daughter. Her daughter is so beautiful. She's like, oh, I'm going to make her the model that I wanted to be. But the daughter doesn't necessarily want to be a model. She wants to be a doctor. She wants to be something else. But the mom is like, no, how we're going to do this is you're going to be a model. If you want any money from me, it's going to be for you to do any modeling. It's not going to be to do anything else but modeling. Oh, you want to go to school for being a doctor or doing something other than being a model and being this? Well, guess what? I'm not paying for anything. You're going to have to find a way to pay for it on your own, because that's not what I want you to do. That's another way that they could be a toxic mom and it could be controlling in the situation. How they could be controlling, how they could be toxic to their sons. Oh my gosh, they can have a problem with their son dating, like extreme problem with their son dating. Not just because, oh, my son is young and he shouldn't be thinking about dating right now. He should be worried about his books, but in a way like he shouldn't want no other woman in his life but his mother. That's when you know it's toxic. And we're not talking about she touching them or anything. She's not doing anything crazy like that. But just the fact that she don't think that any other woman could be in his life but his mother, that's toxic. All right. So I'm gonna show y'all some examples of toxic mothering.
Mom, did you get the same dress as me? Yeah, I remember we were both looking at it online and we both said that we liked it. Isn't it cute? Yeah, but we were shopping for my school dance. You can't keep doing this. Why not? I'm your mother. I birthed you, and it's my money. Well, it makes me feel like I can't develop my own personality and interests, and you're trying to steal a part of my childhood. Of course I am. You know I had a terrible childhood, and I'm jealous of the one that you had, so I'm gonna leech off of all of your experiences. Mom, you forgot a setting. Steven is bringing his new girlfriend. I know, honey. I subconsciously forgot because I really don't like her. But you've never even met her. I don't need to meet her. No one is good enough for our family. They aren't? No. I was raised in a narcissistic family culture where we believed that we were better than everyone else. This new girlfriend is threatening our family's purity. Purity? Our family is not pure. Oh, honey, I know. We have a lot of issues. But this is our family's way of protecting our fragile egos. If you keep acting like that, you're gonna scare everyone off. You and your brother will eventually find partners who have low self-worth, and they'll put up with poor treatment just to be a part of this family. I'm so excited for Thanksgiving dinner. By the way, I invited your brother. You know he went through that horrible breakup. That's great, Mom. However, I'd like to set some boundaries around the situation. Here we go again with the boundaries. Your generation is so funny. I'm sorry you feel the need to invalidate my concerns. However, my daughter has sensory needs and she really doesn't like to be hugged. That's so silly. What child doesn't like to be hugged? Actually, Mom, there are many kids that don't. And it creates anxiety for her when she's hugged without her consent. Consent? That's her uncle. This is outrageous. I've been teaching my children about consent from a young age so that they learn how to protect their peace and safety no matter who it is. He just wants to show his niece how much he loves her. He barely gets to see her. And my daughter knows just how much he loves her, and she has the tools to express her affection in ways that she feels comfortable. Grandma, look at this picture I drew of me and Mommy. I don't like that my son, your father, is not in the picture. So I'm going to disapprove of it and tell you to draw something else. You think that I'm too young to realize that you dislike my mother? But I can really sense the tension. Oh, grandbaby, I'm gonna try to distract you with sweets, toys, and special treatment so that I can use your love to undermine your mother. Why, Grandma? I feel inadequate and irrelevant, so I'm going to compete with your mother any chance I get. And because the rest of the family views me as elderly and old school, I'll continue to get away with it.
Sheesh. Wouldn't want to have that mom or that grandmom in our family, right? So that's examples of toxic mothering. Shout out to that TikToker. Listen, but moms aren't the only parents that are toxic. We have toxic fathers too. Now, toxic fathers, you know, when it comes to their sons, they could be overly like wanting to project themselves onto their sons. And this really comes into play a lot when it comes to the LGBTQ community. I know I talked about the mom, Veronica, having a problem with her son being gay, but there's also times when a father has a really big issue with their child being homosexual. And so they do stuff and they try to make them feel, you know, try to toughen them up, you know, or if they're not doing something that they want them to do as far as career goals or anything like that, they're automatically dismissive of everything. And another thing that men do a lot is they're real quick to dismiss feelings, because a lot of times the emotional aspect is not really on the man's side anyway. It's mostly like females, right? We're the emotional ones, right? So the man, he can quickly dismiss emotions because they don't operate a lot on emotion anyway. So if their son shows any type of weakness, shows emotion, he's weak. All right. With girls, it could be something. How can they be a toxic father to their daughter? Well, they can also be in some things where they don't want their daughter being with a certain type of man. They want to control every aspect of their social life. Also, what they wear, all of the above. Here's a few examples, because I think I can show you better than I can tell you.
Where you been all day? How's it work? Call that a job? What is that? Relax, I was kidding around. No, you're antagonizing me. Lower your voice. Classic. Now you get to act like I'm the one who's escalating to save face because your joke was disrespectful and you don't want to own it. You're so sensitive. Sorry I hurt your little baby feelings. Not just what you say, it's who you are. You're my parent and you treat me like you're a school bully. Oh yeah? School bully put a roof over your head and food on your table? I mean, in the context of this analogy, yeah.
I don't think at 14 you need to show cleavage. You don't have to look like what I think.
Are my sleeves
too short?
What do you think she looks like?
When you dress like that, you look... I was going to say, you don't have to dress like a slut. You can dress like a decent woman. Boys are going to look at her. Short? Hey, when I was your age, when I was 17...
Are they too short?
What?
My pants.
They're too tight.
Do these flip-flops show too much of my feet?
No, don't be a smart aleck.
Well, that's what you're sounding stupid when you say that. These are too tight. They're not too tight.
See, that's the problem with her. You know, I should let you run with the dogs and get fleas, sister. Act like a little hoe. I shouldn't even worry about your ass. Let you do what you want to do.
Can't believe what I've just heard.
Whatever.
I did nothing to him, Mom. He starts calling me a whore because the way I dress, I'm normal. I don't know why he's doing that.
So guys, a safe parent cares about your feelings, accepts you for you, takes responsibility for their mistakes, respects your boundaries, promotes your self-esteem, trustworthy, emotionally mature, okay to disagree with them, good communication, validates your experiences, you feel safe and heard. A toxic parent, however, lacks empathy, disrespects your boundaries, never apologizes, invalidates your feelings, mocks and belittles you, is self-absorbed, never takes responsibility, is manipulative, emotionally immature, controlling, lies to you, is abusive, and leaves you feeling confused. There are several types of toxic parents. There's the infallible parents. Such parents feel they can never be wrong in anything. Perfectionist parents expect nothing less than perfection or else shame their child. Then you have the controlling parents. Their child is in their subordination. They control everything. And adequate parents, they are not ready for parenting. The child parents themselves. The hypocrite parents, when they do something wrong, it's fine, but their child can't do it. And abuser parents, they abuse their children emotionally, mentally, and physically. Those are the type of toxic parents. Now, how to free yourself from toxic parents. 10 ways to free yourself. Stop trying to please them. Set and enforce boundaries. Try to change. Don't try to change them. Be mindful of what you share with them. That means like any information. Sometimes you got to put them on an information diet. Know your parents' limitations and work around them, but only if you want to. Always have an exit strategy. Accept that you can't reason with them. You don't have to be at your parents' beck and call. You're not obligated to spend the holidays with your parents. And take care of yourself. All right? Now, there's that. And then we have moving on to the siblings. Now, siblings, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of sibling rivalry. But when it gets like Welcome Home Rascal Jenkins, we got something we gotta work on. Okay? Because that was a little too toxic. So I'm gonna go and show y'all what that would look like.
5 signs your brother or sister is abusive. Number 1, this person guilts you into doing things you don't want to do and claims that you have to do it because that's what family does. Number 2, this person uses physical force against you through punching or hitting if you irritate them. Number 3, this person points out what they perceive as physical flaws. They make either off comments to you or they bully you. Number 4, this person makes you feel like the black sheep of the family. They make you feel like you'll never amount to anything, and they make you feel like an inadequate person. Number 5, this person shames you every time you show any form of emotion. If you cry, they put you down. If you're depressed, they mock you. If you laugh, they make fun of your laugh. Make no mistake, bullying is a learned behavior. It is not okay in any circumstance, and those behaviors will oftentimes bleed into different aspects of their adulthood. Just because you're family, that doesn't give an open invitation to be abusive, and it's time to recognize that.
One of the craziest rodeos out there, the sibling relationship in a narcissistic family. Let's try to break it down a little bit. Sibling relationships in a narcissistic family generally aren't close, and generally you can find that they are really crazy chaotic. One, that's because the narcissist themselves doesn't usually enable close sibling relationships because that would threaten the power dynamics, and that would also kind of expose them. It's also part of enmeshment. It's part of how they hide their abuse because narcissists don't want you to expose to the world what they're doing because they know that it's wrong. So if they can keep the siblings apart from each other, they can keep them from working together, having power, speaking, and exposing what's going on in the home. You generally find that these siblings don't trust each other, they resent one another, they're set up to compete against one another, and in worst case scenarios, some of those siblings can even take on some of those narcissistic traits from their parent, which can result in sibling abuse, which is a topic we will be getting into soon. Follow for more. Happy Mother's Day, my lovelies. Let's chat about sibling abuse. One of the things that I hate the most about toxic parents, narcissistic families, is how much sibling abuse they enable. And we don't talk about it enough, like at all. Your siblings can cause just as much, if not more damage than your parents, and the narcissistic parent loves nothing more than A, weaponizing that, and B, totally ignoring it, because hey, not my problem. Big problem in my household. Major problem. Had a sibling that went ahead and just took on all those narcissistic characteristics from my mother, but then amplified them, and instead of being a covert narcissist, turned into a raging, overt, grandiose, narcissistic monster. So that means that me, the sibling that was 13 years younger, got constant and everyday emotional abuse. And so did everyone else in the household. My sibling emotionally and mentally terrorized me almost every single day. I watched him choke out his wife, spit in her face, shove her downstairs while he took their newborn baby inside the door and locked it in front of her face and told her if she called the cops, of which he was one, he would turn everyone in the town against all of us. The last time I actually hung out with this sibling, it was around Christmas time, and he spent a good hour making fun of my paternity, because I'm adopted. So he thought it would be really funny to make fun of the potential of me having a person of color as my father. Apparently that was really funny to him, because on top of being a narcissist, he's a racist. The sibling screamed at me, yelled at me, put me down, and the biggest thing is had tons of terrorizing, terrifying, humiliating, horrifying abuse that he piled on to my mother and his wife and his children, which I then got to witness and experience secondhand. And my story is pretty mild. Watching him take a baseball bat to a car in the middle of town in the middle of the day, pretty mild compared to some of the sibling abuse stories that other people have. Because sibling abuse is very real, and it's just as damaging as anything our parents do to us. Follow for more on sibling abuse.
So guys, narcissistic sibling characteristics, they need to be the center of attention. They always feel entitled. They lack empathy and don't care about your feelings. They only see you as a source of narcissistic supply, i.e. money, time, energy. They are the golden child and you are the scapegoat. When you take a break from them, you feel better. And they are downright cool to you and relish in your pain. All right? So, how a narcissistic sister or brother affects your mental health. Well, actually, how a toxic household affects your mental health. Being in a toxic environment or around toxic family members can lead to depression, anxiety, and a general sense of walking on eggshells in your own home. It can also affect one's self-worth, self-esteem, self-confidence, and self-love. And oftentimes, when an individual is in a toxic family or there's a toxic individual in the family, it's a highly anxious environment, which affects the way they view the house, their family, but also other people in the world in general. Licensed marriage and family therapist Rachel Czar explains that it can even go on to affect your attachment style. She says being trapped in a long-term and unsafe environment can have a really long-term impact. It may show up in other relationships. You might notice that it's really hard to get close to other people, that you're self-sabotaging when it comes to relationships, or you have difficulty trusting others, she explains. So here we go. Developing a desire to avoid conflict or criticism, distrusting others, overly tolerant of abuse within relationships, lack of stability in the family, and lack of nurturing relationships.